when you stir it up.
The world is a rainbow, many kinds of people. It takes all kinds of people to make your sight to see. The world is beautiful when we live in harmony. What's already up? La 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 la. Now you be you and I be me. That's the way you meant to be. But the world is a mixing cup. Just look what happens when you stir it up. The world is a rainbow, many kinds of people. It takes a kind of people to make your sight to see. The world is beautiful when you live in harmony. Hey, la 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 la. 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 Welcome to the Pokey Show.
It's great to meet you.
Thank you for coming to the Poking Around with Pokey show.
My pleasure.
It's nice to have you. Would you like to introduce yourself to the general audience?
Sure. Well, my name's Adam Theoux. I don't know how much you want to know about me, but we're about to find a lot about me. I basically, I work for WPRI. I work for the Road Show. I'm the cameraman, lead editor for it. And because of that, I've just been working so much in this, in the visual industry. And now I'm really trying to do something more for the film community.
So how long have you been in the film industry?
Well, about 10 years ago, I went to New England Tech for audio video production because I wanted to do audio. I wanted to be like, working like a sound mixer or something, a live music venue. But while I was there, I fell in love with video. So then got my associate's degree. I knew that was what I wanted to do. And because of that, I ended up interning at a few production houses, got a job at the dog tracks up at Twin River.
Oh.
And then I got my big boy job at Channel 12. And it's kind of been, that got me into, I wouldn't say film per se, because I don't do film, I don't write fictional stories at work, but it really kind of got me a lot more comfortable as a cameraman because I'd really only started using a camera when I went to school. So it was kind of abrupt.
Oh, wow. You went from audio to film that quickly.
And there's still so much audio in film, and having a clear understanding in it, it's nice to still have that experience.
Yes, it is.
Put that all together.
Was it hard for you to make the transition between the audio and the visual?
Not necessarily, because I've always been just a creative type. My brain's just always been coming out with ideas. I've been a musician my whole life since the age of 5. I picked up piano, then basically every 2 years or so picked up another instrument. So
wow, that's amazing. That's
my
impressive.
own band. Oh yeah.
Oh wow, do you play in a band?
I don't play in a band right now because I work so early, and I was in a band that toured the country, and we also played a lot of gigs, and that and working at 5 a.m. doesn't really mix.
What's the name of your band?
Well, I was in a few of them. I'd say the band I did the most traveling in was The Brunt of It.
Oh.
It was like a punk band from Newport.
Oh, that's
based out of
great.
Newport. It was a lot of fun.
Well, at least you got to travel and see the world and do what you love, right?
It was a blast. It was a lot of fun doing it, and I got it out of my system. Now I'm happily married with my job, and I can just stay in one spot.
Oh,
Providence,
that's
Rhode Island.
great. That's really good. I hear that you mentioned that you are creative, and I hear that you put together this whole film festival last year, and this is your second year at the 401 Festival?
This will be our second year for the 401 Film Festival. It is the whole idea of the 401 Film Festival is still less than a year old.
Wow.
Last June, I'm like, I had completed my first 100% shot, wrote, edited, directed, all for no budget with no crew, my first independent film. The next week, Anthony Demmings showed it at Rodywood at the Brooklyn Coffee House, which we are very appreciative of. And then at that point, most of my friends and their friends have seen it. So we're looking for, local festivals for the independent filmmaker. And there really aren't any. There's a lot of film festivals in Providence, and with the whole film boom these days, Providence is becoming a lot higher up the totem pole of film. So there's really a lot less of a focus on independent film at these such festivals. So I kind of took it into my own hands last June. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna see how it goes. So I want to do it all myself, so I can learn from it. I want to mess up, and if anybody's going to mess up, I know I'm going to mess up because I'm the only person. I can't. If I was working with someone else, I would say, oh, it might have been them. But I wanted to take all of the responsibility so I could learn every aspect of it, and it was phenomenal. We got over 1,000 submissions. It's free for local filmmakers, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, but we did get submissions from all over the world. It was phenomenal.
That's great.
All the money raised after venues, projector costs to kind of run the event, which I take nothing from. All of that money goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Ocean State. And last year, our first year with only 2 events, we raised over $1,000 for Big Brothers Big Sisters. And the event is free to attend, so all of the money raised was from donated snacks and from raffle ticket sales from our sponsors that gave us gifts. It was very encouraging. So there was it was November 12th and November 13th. And then on November 14th, I was like, all right, let's do it again. It was so much fun.
And you are doing it again,
We're doing
right?
it again, October 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
Wow, 3 whole days.
3 days. All of the venues, times, and films will eventually be found at www.401filmfest.com. And right now, we don't have the films listed on the site because our submissions are still open, and they will be through July 31st of this year. Midnight, technically, July 31st. I screen all of the films that come in.
Wow.
So I choose what gets into the festival, and then I have a team of judges that pick the winners in specific categories.
So you're very busy screening. That takes a lot of time.
It is. I mean, last year, one of the films that I got submitted it had a $15,000 budget, and it was only 4 minutes long. And watching it, I was like, it's kind of boring.
Wow.
And at that point, you figure if you raise that much money for so much short of a film, it would be perfect. I didn't accept it because it really just didn't grab me. But on the other hand, a 5th grader submitted a math project music video that he wrote, shot, and edited all on his iPad. And watching it, I was laughing, I was loving it. Second time around, I was singing along.
Oh,
it was great. So
that's great.
This is a festival for the actual low to no budget independent filmmaker. And
who's creative enough to put a story together, right?
It's just the person with a camera and a story. That's all you need. And that's all we want.
That's fantastic. Do you need help or volunteers for your actual day event?
We would love a few volunteers, and anybody could contact me at Adam at 401 Film Fest. I say 401, but we all know here in Rhode Island it's 401. So I will say that one more time correctly. Adam at 401filmfest.com.
But you know everyone in Rhode Island is going to say
401.
401, right?
Who is?
It's just a Rhode Island thing, right?
It's silly,
It
but
is.
it's what we grew up and what we love. And I grew up in Rhode Island, and I love Rhode Island. And this is something for a few different communities. I mean, the students that, there's so many local schools that, have final projects and stuff, and they get shown in class, and then they'll live on YouTube? But this is giving them an opportunity to be seen on a bigger screen. And this year, I've already gotten maybe 4 or 5 times the amount of student submissions than last year, and there's still a whole 3 months left.
Oh, that's
I'm
great.
Really excited.
So you're encouraging a lot of students to participate.
Yes, because I was there. And so it's, it's not like I'll be biased, but I know what it's like to be there, and I know what it's like to just be like, oh, it's just a student filmmaker. No. And I'm not trying to be Steven Spielberg. I'm just trying to make a little story, and I want people to smile, and I want people to enjoy it. Or if I'm making a serious drama, I want someone to feel something. That's it. I'm not looking to make $1 million and move to Hollywood. You know what? If I move anywhere, it's going to be North Kingstown.
That's fantastic.
We don't have as much a budget to put on so much of a show at our film festival, but since it's just a free event to attend and a free event to submit your film to as a local filmmaker, and the only money that's entering the building is going to be for food, drinks, or raffle prizes, and all of that money either goes to local filmmakers that will win the prize and Big Brothers Big Sisters.
So you're going to start a scholarship for children to pursue some academia?
Amazing.
With the Big Brothers and like a fundraiser to do that?
But no, everything's still possible. I've been working a lot with Big Brothers. I've been a mentor for about 1.5 years, and it's just changed my life so much. I've talked to a few other mentors in the group, and I'm trying to get them to make anywhere from 1 minute to a 10-minute short film to enter. Whether it's, they want to write something funny and make like a comedy sketch, or do a kind of sit-down interview about how being a mentor has changed your life. And I've got a few of them that are going to make something and submit it. What it is going to be, I won't know till I get it, but I'm really looking forward to that. It's pretty wild how this has all happened in less than a year.
That's great. Oh my God, you must be so thrilled.
I was not expecting it to be as already recognized as it was. Last year it was just phenomenal how many people came to both events. We'll see how many people come to all 4 this year.
Open submissions? You have open submissions? What's that all about?
Well, that's correct. Right now, from whenever you're watching this up until July 31st this year, you can submit your film to 401 Film Fest. Short film, feature film, music video, class project, school project, student, anything that you created can be watched on a screen. We are accepting it. It's free for Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut filmmakers, students, or just hobbyists. You don't have to be in the film community to submit and get accepted to the 401 Film Fest. And I would like to encourage all of the viewers to go to 401filmfest.com and just click on the Submit tab and see how you can do it.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you
That's
so much.
fantastic. I hope people take you up on your offer, because you never know where it may go, where their passion lays and how much talent they have, or how much opportunity they could have to work with you. Like your little brother, I'm sure he's working on a project.
I love him. He's a great kid.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. But yeah, I do have him working on something, but I cannot work on it because then I would be biased.
You're so funny. I hope that you want to come back to our show and give us a nice long interview
I would love to
about
come
what
back
you're
sometime.
doing. Yeah? That sounds good.
Please.
Okay. So thank you for coming around to the Poking Around Pokey show. You've just been poked, so.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Adam, and thank you. I look forward for you coming back, and I'll definitely be attending your event this year.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait.
Okay.
These are the times that try men's souls. In the course of our state's history, the people of Rhode Island have rallied bravely whenever their rights have been threatened. Today, a new crisis has arisen. Our governor and the Department of Transportation, known as the DOT, is attempting to levy a burdensome toll tax in the form of a massive construction project called roadworks. Citizens, hear me out. This could happen to you. Well, let me tell you of the story of a man named Tony on that tragic and fateful day. He jumped into his car and kissed his wife and family, drove to Route 95, they say. Well, did he ever return? No, he never returned, and his fate is still unlearned. Poor old Tony, he may ride forever on Rhode Island's highways. He's the man who never returned. Tony headed north to the capital city, hung a right on to Route 10. When he got there, he was funneled to the 610 connector. Tony knew he was roadkill then. But did he ever return? No, he never returned, and his fate is still unlearned. Total gridlock. He may ride forever on Rhode Island's highways. He's the man who never returned. Now all night long Tony rides through the city crying, how can I get back home? Maybe find my way to Route 146 and get out of this twilight zone. But did he ever return? No, he never returned, and his fate is still unlearned. He's so lost that he may ride forever through Rhode Island highways. He's the man who never returned. He took the Pleasant Valley Parkway all the way to Chalkstone, over Douglas to 146 South. But when that ramp dumped him into the 95 merge, Tony knew he wasn't getting out. But did he ever return? No, he never returned, and his fate is still unlearned. Goodbye, Tony. He may ride forever on Rhode Island's highways. He's the man who never returned. Pick it. Hey, look at this. We got 18 gantries, 700 bridges, and they're trying to do it all at once. What's the matter with these people? If they fixed it the first place, we wouldn't be in this mess. Now, ye citizens of Rhodey, there's a plan called roadworks. They'll be digging up half the state. Fight those gantry tolls and vote out supporters. Say poor Tony before it's too late. Or else he'll never return, no, he'll never return, and his fate will be unlearned. What a big mess. He may ride forever on Rhode Island's highways. He's the man who never returned. He's the man who never returned. He's the man who never returned. He's the man who never returned.
How are you doing today, Tony?
I'm doing fine. Good afternoon. How's
Good
it going?
afternoon. Good. There are a lot of people that would like to know about your history here and how you got going. And
Well, I got going, I guess, after I saw you. I've known you for several years. Brooklyn Coffee Tea House started because I'm an artist. I do painting, drawings, and I decided to open up an art studio. And I saw this building that was being condemned, so I bought it. And for several months, I ran it as an art studio. But I was going through about 7 to 10 pounds of coffee, 7 to 10 pounds of coffee a week. I said, what's going on here? I must open a coffee house. So I decided to open a coffee house / art studio. And that evolved for many, many years. I mean, I ran it from 2000 to 2007. And they'd buy 1 cup of coffee or wouldn't buy any and stay all day, so the seats couldn't turn around. So one day I said, I think that was in 06 or 07, I said, you know, I don't need this. I can probably better serve the community if I shut it down. So one night I shut it down, paid all my staff off. The next morning I opened it up as a venue, coffee house for music, films, art, acting classes, etc.
So where did it go from there? What are you doing now here?
Well, what it did, it evolved in the entertainment industry. What we do is we allow people to come in and voice their opinion. It can be politicians, actors, wannabes, not wannabes, people that hang out. It's a catalytic for the entertainment art community. When the art class started, there's a acting over here, this is core acting. Mike Messier many years ago was doing core acting here, and I kind of got the bug. I said, this is kind of interesting, you know? And it wasn't shortly thereafter, a friend of mine called, he says, Tony, why don't you come out to Fall River, we'll do a film. I said, I never acted in my entire life back in 06, 07. And he says, come on, I got something for you, you're going to be a priest. What? What? He says, yeah, you're going to be a priest. What kind of a priest am I going to be? I'm going to be a pedophile priest. He says, no. You're going to be a mean priest because you got defrocked from the church. They threw you out because they thought you were selling drugs. That's the theme of the movie. And you were so distraught that you moved in with a roommate who you had previously married, and she died. So you had to move in with him because you couldn't afford being on your own. But you wanted to take your life away. Well, why do you want to take your life away? Well, because I can't take it myself, because if I take my life away myself, I can't become a saint. So I asked my roommate if he could kill me. And da-da-da-da-da. It's called For Their Own Blood. That was my very, very first movie. Hence, I says, I got to do a movie. And the reason why I decided I was going to do a movie, because one day, an older woman walked in while I was running the coffee house, and she said, Anthony? Oh, nobody's called me Anthony for many, many years. They always call me Tony. And she's about 80 years old. She comes up to me. She says, how would you like to go home? I says, I am home. I live upstairs. I'm laughing at her, right? And she comes over, reaches over and touches me on the ear, and she says, you're going to go home. You're going to go home to where life all began. And she gave me paperwork, and I found out who I was after 60 years. I was so intrigued. I says, for all the years that I lost my little brother. I call my brothers in the orphanage because they would be adopted, and they would be adopted out, and I didn't know what that meant. You know, I thought the nuns were just taking them away, the empty beds at night. And finally it was my turn to be adopted, and I thought I was going to go into like a black hole. I thought it was about time that everybody's seen what's going on with the good part of the orphanage and the bad part. So I wrote the script. It won honorable mention at the Rhode Island International Film Festival. And I wasn't able, sadly, to do a full feature. I had to do a short feature because of finance. But it was submitted to the Southeastern New England Film Festival, and it won the Best Audience Choice Award out of 400 people. So it was kind of interesting. And I called the movie Children of the Asylum because I was raised at St. Vincent's Home for the Infant Asylum. Asylum then meant protection, like foreign dignitaries seek asylum. And it's very emotional. When you see the film, you'll notice the film is basically entirely shot in one location, which is the coffee house. In the movie, as I'm a good actor, as myself current, and then Charlie Tack, as you'll see later, he was my young self back in the 1940s, early 50s. As I said, I am a pretty good actor, I'll admit that. They say I look like Alan Arkin, I'll go with that. But this movie was so emotional, it drained me so bad, because the story about my life, it all came forth. I do get choked up, as you can tell. And I've had that film's been out for over a year and a half, and people still get choked up on seeing the film. It has an emotional value of that time. There was a lot of respect, there was a lot of more values than there are today. Today, a woman could be out of wedlock. There's many social services in place that allow her to be a single parent, but back then you couldn't be. You were actually, a mother was tabooed from her own family because that was a no-no. And then you had to be of the same nationality to get adopted. The adopted parents and the adoptee had to be of the same nationality. It couldn't be interracial like it is today. socially acceptable back then. It wasn't, and again, there was no services in place. But in the Catholic Church, separation of church and state, they don't have to say nothing. I found out when that woman came in, don't know where she's from, but I got all the records. But it's sad to say that my little brothers don't know. They never knew their last name. Even if they had a last name, it would be changed. Mine stayed as Anthony because I was 7 years old, so they kept it. And we'd all get punished, don't get me wrong with the nuns, but I had one in. I used to clean the chapel. So I had the almighty, I cleaned the chapel. You know, I'm a little conniver in my own way, even as a kid I was.
No, you
Oh yes, oh yes, I used to, you know, I was protected from the above a little bit more.
Wow.
I have a lot of good memories. People think the orphanage is bad and they have these social services. They have, I call them like a daycare center and foster parents. For as many good foster parents there are a lot of them just doing it for the money. And here's what's very, very sad. If little Johnny or Sue get taken out of a home because of domestic violence with the family, well, here's what happens. The state takes them, and hopefully they put little Johnny and Sue into a foster home together. But a lot of times they can't because it's the last minute. So what happens now, they're being confronted on separation, Johnny and Sue, and at the same time, the state's putting them in the same type of environment, meaning from one family to another. Here they're going to see a man and a woman. They probably had some problem with the man or with the wife. So they're back in a family environment, unsafe. And I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with a modified version of an orphanage because when they go in together and it's called a timeout, you're treated the same. It's very hard for children that are going into foster homes because now they're competing with biological or other. Sometimes you don't survive. That's why you see a lot of times children run away from foster homes or the parents just can't deal with them and they're going back from one foster home to another.
It's amazing. The children of the asylum, when you wrote this yourself?
I wrote this myself, but I also had help with a young aspiring filmmaker called Chris Fader. What I did, I don't know if it was right or wrong, I knew what was going on, so I says, okay, let me create the scene. And the scene, how the scene started, I'm in the orphanage, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I walk down the giant staircase. So what I did is I wrote everything on the scene. I'm outside, or my mother-to-be, my biological mother being my father, going in the USO club. My mother walks in one door, it's windy out. The outside lamp is, the shades are swinging. As she walks in, the dance floor is gleaming. So to keep my mouth shut on the dialogue, all I did is put all the scenes, space, 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 space. Another scene, space, 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 space. It took a lot to keep my mouth shut. I knew where I was, my mother going into the hospital, my biological mother going to the hospital. Then she had 6 days later come out. We went to the church. She had, at that time, I love those bells. At that time, you had to go to the church to be baptized. Then she took me to the orphanage. So these are all scenes. That's all they were. Then after, Chris Fader helped me put the dialogue in. Yeah, the Children's Asylum, that was kind of hard. Like I said, I couldn't make a full feature movie because it's expensive, so we had to cut it down. And the director's name is Skip Shea. Did a wonderful job. Extremely wonderful. Wonderful cast and crew. And if you'll notice how it starts off me upstairs looking out the window, da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Then I come down, and the next scene is, as you can see, I'm in the coffee house. And this old woman approaches me, and basically it looks like she's going to tell me something that I really want to hear. Okay. And then you'll notice everything is in the letters. You'll see I'm holding up a bunch of letters. And I look at the letters, and then I raise my head, and in this coffee house, everything goes back in time to the 40s. Now, you're going to have to keep up with this. It starts off slow, but then it goes very, very fast. You'll notice that there's a woman on the side. As I'm reading the letters from my mother, that is my mother on the side, but I don't see her.
Okay.
Okay? The audience sees her, but I don't see her. She's very emotional to all the scenes. When she's on my right side, I do not see her at all. Never see her. But what I did ask the director is, I see the past, but I want to go into the past. He wouldn't let me go into the past. One scene I told him, I am going into the past, because I was very afraid of the nuns. And I wanted to ask the nuns a certain question. You'll notice this one scene where I put my hands up, and I put my hands up. What that really meant is I shut down the production. He left it in there because I lost it, I cried. I just completely lost it because I acted as myself. We shut down the set and went outside, just lost it. I says, I can't do it anymore. It's hard to act as yourself. And finally went back on stage and I says, I've got to confront the nun. So I walked in, if you'll notice one scene, I walked into the past and I confront the nun. What is she doing? Then I walk back. And then you'll see the boy. We had to do it in a still one bed, and it was me as a youth with another boy, and he just kind of slept together because we had to keep the film down. But if you'll notice, they're laying together, and all of a sudden, the boy's gone. Well, that boy was swept away, meaning he was being adopted. But I didn't know that, so I got mad and I screamed and all that. And I carry that with me often because I know we're only borrowed in life. And yeah, everything we both do. We borrow the flowers, we borrow people. We try to enjoy the road because the road is very windy sometimes. And as I told my children sometimes, there is no answer. Sometimes you have to do it. Well, why? Well, sometimes there is no reason why. You hope the road is not too windy. You hope that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's how I taught my sons. I taught myself. You borrow people. You do the best that you can with them. Look at the credits. The sound. I picked this music from a musician. She was great. And listen to the words. When the red leaves fall. And you'll see the captions. They're not just captions. If you'll notice, there's pictures in them. And some of those scenes are my biological mother. Some of, well, my adopted parents. That's, the closing credits still very emotional for me. Extremely emotional. But it was good. I think you saw the film.
Yes, I loved the film. I loved the film very much.
Most of the film, if you notice, was filmed on location, which was a Brooklyn Coffee Tea House. And all we did is shift the camera from one location to another location, to another location, to another location. That's why, along with its emotional value, I think it'll do very well on stage.
Tony, I really want to thank you for being on our show again and telling the audience all about your story. It is always a pleasure to have you here. We are now going to view the short film, The Children of the Asylum. But before we do, I must remind you all to tune into our show again at the same Pokey time, at the same Pokey channel. And remember, you stay on your toes because you never know when I'll be poking around that corner when I come. I'll be poking around that corner when I come. I'll be poking around that corner. I'll be poking around that corner. I'll be poking around that corner when I come. Stay on those toes. See you next time and enjoy the show.
Mama, did you ever love me? Papa, did you ever care? Close my eyes, I feel your presence. When I blink, you are not there. Mama, now I see you smiling, lying in a soft white bed. Papa beckons in to kiss you, lover's eyes with words unsaid. Children of the asylum, wondering, not knowing why. Speak to them or give them answers. Mama, can you hear my cry?
Come on in.
Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Good, good.
Hey, Tony, how's it going?
If I was any better, it would be illegal. Oh, yeah. Hey. Good. There you go. Just the way you like it.
Thanks, Tony.
Well, you charge extra for that balancing act?
How do you think I balance my books? Hey! Hey, excuse me! You forgot your muffins.
Thanks, Tony.
Tony? Are you Anthony Demmings?
Yes, I am, but nobody's called me that for years.
These are for you. Anthony, they'll take you home.
Home? I am home. I live upstairs.
Oh, Anthony, you'll understand much better after you read the letters.
Who are they from?
Your destiny.
These letters are from 1946. It's from my mom. It's from my mom. It's from my real mom. My dearest Anthony,
My dearest Anthony, I'm trying to make the best of things, but it isn't easy. I love you so much, I can't stand it. And I'm not that far away, really, but I have to go. I can't bear the pain any longer. I have to leave. I hope in time, my beautiful son, you will be able to understand.
Good evening, everyone. We'd like everyone to know how very proud we are to perform our music here for you at this wonderful USO ball. Relax and let the music get inside of you. Have some drinks. Unwind. Make my body quiver. Send shivers.
Excuse me. My name is Officer Stevens with the United States Navy. May I ask your name?
Joyce Marchetti.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Joyce. I've just returned from a long time at sea, and, well, it would be my pleasure to... I'd like to ask if you'd like to dance with me.
Well, then ask me.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Very sorry about that. Would you like to dance with me?
Yes, I would like to dance with you.
Who are you looking for?
Oh, nobody. Just my sister. She's...
Oh, well, I'm very glad you said yes.
I'm very glad you asked me to dance.
You're welcome.
Let's not think about anything else tonight, okay? Just let everything float away.
Sounds perfect.
Okay.
With one touch, oh how I feel. Please never go away. Be my inspiration. Be every breath I take. Be the one that I adore, so divine. The love we make.
How are you feeling, Joyce? Any nausea?
Why, yes. How did you know?
Well, the news is confirmed. Congratulations, Joyce. You're going to have a baby.
No, this can't be. Oh, Robert. Robert, where are you? I love him, Doctor. I do love him.
There. I'm sure the father will be thrilled.
No. I mean, I love him, but I can't find him. I love him.
Hello, I'm Miss Julia Rager, and I will be assisting you in your pursuit of an orphanage to help with the upcoming adoption.
It's nice to meet you, Miss Rager. I'm Joyce.
It's very nice to meet you, Joyce. It's important that you understand the rules of your situation. Unwed mothers do not have a lot of choices, Joyce. The best thing is to give the infant up so that he or she can be adopted into a loving, stable family, and you'll be able to return to the church. Joyce, stop it. This really is what's best for the child. The child will not have access to any of your information. I know this is difficult to hear, but it's what will happen. Come on, Joyce. Sign the paperwork.
My dear Miss Rager, thanks for everything you've done for me so far. I'm writing to you now from the Home for Unwed Mothers. This isn't like home, but I can assure you I'm more than grateful to you for all the kindness you've shown towards me. The day I arrived here, I worked from 1 p.m. until 4:35 p.m. in the nurses' quarters, typing. Oh, my achy back. The girl they had there had retired, and from there, I was shifted to the nurses' dining hall, stacking trays, washing and drying dishes. I think it's time. Nurse! Nurse! Oh! You help me. Oh! It's a boy. Anthony. I named him Anthony in honor of Saint Anthony and all the favors he has bestowed upon me.
Anthony.
Yes, Anthony.
Anthony, I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
I can't believe it. I can't believe I have to give away my baby.
You must be strong now. Being strong now is what will get you through this. This is what is best for Anthony.
I know. I feel so much pain. My heart is breaking.
Joyce, remember, you promised you would trust me.
The nuns. The orphanage.
Tiger, oh darn, you always get me, Anthony. I know, I'm the best. Shh, don't let the nuns hear us. We're not supposed to be goofing around inside. We're supposed to be in bed. I know, I'm just so excited. I mean, it's Christmas, the baby Jesus' birthday. I know, Anthony, it is exciting, but we don't want to upset Sister Teresa tonight. No. Are you afraid of her? A little. Don't worry, I'm here, and it's Christmas. Did you see all the presents under the tree? I hope there's a red bike under there. Michael? Michael? No. No. I'm all alone. No. No.
Michael is going to have a fine life. A very fine life. He's been adopted.
No, he went into the black hole.
Anthony, do you remember when I told you that your turn would come too?
Yes.
Do you remember what I told you?
That I had to be strong.
That's right, Anthony. And now, it's time for you to be strong.
No, I don't want to go.
It's time to be strong. Anthony, I need you to come with me.
Time to be strong? He is strong. He's just afraid. He's afraid of losing his family and friends into that black hole. We're both afraid of going into that black hole. Don't you understand? Why don't you tell him? Explain it to him so he won't be afraid.
Tony, I need you to be strong. Remember? Hello, Anthony. Anthony, this is Fred and Diane Demmings. And these nice people, they want to adopt you. Do you know what that means? They want to be your parents and give you a real home. Something we can't give you here. Anthony, are you afraid to go?
Hi, Anthony. I'm Diane. I know you're scared, but believe me, we don't want you to be afraid. In fact, we love you and we want to take care of you.
That's right, Anthony. You know, we got a great house. Got a big yard you can play in. And I understand you like tricycles. Especially red ones. So how's that sound? Good.
Tony, you okay?
I'm fine.
Yes, Tony. And he is now too. He gets to call those people Mom and Dad. And Mr. and Mrs. Demmings know, thanks to Miss Rager, that Anthony really likes to ride bikes. Especially red ones.
Wow. How'd you know?
We know these things.
Far behind me, I've come a long way on my own, until I heard their voices calling me home. It would be so easy to go back in time, back in time. And in the night I hear them calling, but I will not be afraid. I've come too far to sell my soul in trade. I won't be swayed. I won't be looking back when the red leaves fall, when the red leaves fall. I keep my eyes on the road before me and watch the signs along the way, never doubting where I am today. I hear my demons calling like a lover left behind. It would be so easy to go back in time, back in time. And in the night I hear them calling, but I will not be afraid, 'cause I've come too far to sell my soul in trade. I won't be swayed. I won't be looking back when the red leaves fall, when the red leaves fall. I won't be looking back when the red leaves fall, when the red leaves fall. Yeah, I hear my demons calling like a lover left behind. It would be so easy to go back in time, back in time. And in the night I hear them calling, but I will not be afraid, 'cause I've come too far to sell my soul in trade. I won't be swayed.
It's time to be moving along. Goodbye and so long. We'll meet again. We'll be drifting down. Keep strong. Goodbye. Goodbye. We will see you soon. Until we meet again. So hauntingly, it's time to be moving along. Goodbye and so long. Goodbye and so long. And keep strong. Good luck and keep strong. Keep on singing Asgard. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye, Pokey Show. Bye, Pokey. See you next time on the Pokey Show. See you next time on the Pokey Show.
Oh, that's... Ew! Your back smells like poopy.